So welcome to chair yoga, and we'll work on core strength today and see how our core strength helps us in our balance. And whether we like it or not, we're constantly, every time we go for a walk, we're practicing balance. So balance is a real critical aspect of our health, to be mobile, to be able to ambulate around the place. And before I start, I'd like to define the core from the knees to the shoulders. And I think I may have mentioned this before. From the knees to the shoulders incorporates the abdominals, which many people isolate and call that the core. But we also want to add the low back. We want to add the oblique muscles that run up the side of the body that stabilize the spine. We want to add the thighs, those standing and sitting muscles. And we also want to add the mid-back, the chest, and the pelvic floor. So that way we've got a bigger definition of core. So let's start by seeing how the core affects us from the way we sit. So walk your sit bones towards the edge of the chair, away from the back of the chair. Look down at your feet. And approximately, you can always use blocks to reference this, but I like to have the distance between the feet one block apart and the distance between the knees the same. So you have a sense of the knees parallel to the hips, parallel to the feet. So you get this nice alignment. If I lean forward, I should be able to see my toes. And as I come back, the knees might be aligned up over the edge of the toes. Now gently lean into the left sit bone and feel how the weight comes into that left sit bone. And then lean to the right and feel how the weight comes into the right sit bones. So we don't often think about sitting as being balanced. But what I'd like you to do is balance the weight between the two sit bones. So this sensitivity of noticing how you sit is going to help your posture. Often we'll sit with a slump to one side, right? So what we're trying to do is simply balance the sit bones. Now balance the sit bones forwards and back. If you hinge forward, you'll feel the weight come forward. And if you hinge back too far, you'll feel almost like you're going to tip backwards. Try and find the balance point in the sit bones, front and back. Now already I can see your posture has improved, just from that little exercise. Push down through the sit bones and lift the back of the skull so you feel the trunk of the body lift up. Roll the shoulders up, back and down, palms face up. So you feel a slight stretch in the chest. The elbows come in towards the ribs. Now that might put a little bit too much pressure on the low back. If it does, if you feel yourself overly arching, push down with the sit bones again so you feel a slight engagement with the abdominals. So now you're tall in the waist, tall in the ribs, but the shoulders are back and down. Now close your eyes for a moment and sense how much of your core is working simply to hold you in good posture. Notice how different this is from our normal day-to-day routine of sitting, where we just slump into a chair and let gravity pull us down without any resistance from the muscles. without any endeavor to sit up tall. So feel already a strengthening in those muscles that stabilize the spine, stabilize the hips. And then relax the face. Relax the face so you don't bring the unnecessary strain into the neck, shoulders, jaw, or eyes. So we want to keep as much of the body relaxed as we can so we don't burn up precious energy, letting the muscles of the core do the work. We don't want to feel this wear us down. So part of your job is to find where can I relax more without slumping. And then start to bring your attention to your breathing muscles that are also located in the core of the body. So I'm talking about abdominal muscles in the stomach. I'm talking about diaphragm muscles that are in the rib cage that help lower and lift the lungs. And I'm talking about the pelvic floor. So strengthening all these muscles with each breath, focusing on the exhale, where you squeeze empty on the exhale, pull the navel in, feel the pelvic floor tighten, and then relax the pelvic floor, relax the belly, allow the diaphragm to expand or lower. Squeeze empty, exhale, relax the inhale. Start to create your pelvic diaphragmatic pump here, squeezing empty, exhale, relaxing to inhale. So once again, using the core of the body, not just to help with posture, but also to help with breath. So starting to see how much of the core is involved in our day-to-day living. If you can, let each new breath become a little deeper, focusing on breathing in and out of the nose if possible. Really feeling the core at work here. And as the core tightens, as you exhale and draw the navel back, you might feel the low back move, the spine moves, the tailbone tends to tuck underneath. And as you inhale and fill the lungs, you might feel the low back arching, starting to feel the spine moving with each breath. Now, with all this core work happening, with this stabilization, with this deep breathing, we're going to add the movement of the arms. On the next inhale, raise the arms above the head, hands together in prayer position above the head, and then exhaling, dropping the hands down towards the knees, dropping the chin. So with the rhythm of the breath, inhaling, reaching up, exhaling, lowering down, using your arms like big wings. Allow the palms to face the heaven when you lift up and come together in prayer. And exhale, palms face the earth as you come down, hands to the thighs or knees, dropping the chin. So allow this movement to grow until you feel the whole spine involved. So as you lift the hands up, you'll feel the low back arching, and you'll feel the back of the neck arching. The chin lifts. And then as the hands lower, you'll feel the tailbone tucking and the chin tucking down to the chest, rounding the back. So the whole spine becomes involved because we're using both the neck and the tailbone as part of the movement as the shoulders and hands lift up and down. Now the next time you lift up, we're going to exaggerate the spinal extension by sweeping the hands around to grab the back of the chair and feel the stretch across the anterior deltoids of the shoulders and the chest. Feel the shoulder blades squeezing here. Feel the low back arching. And notice what it's like to lift the chin and look up towards the ceiling. And then drop the chin towards the chest. So creating a little dynamic here in the neck. Inhale, lift up, look up. Exhale, drop down. And the whole time the spine is feeling that extension, that arching. As you hold the back bend, you might start to feel sensations growing in the shoulders, the arms. And then pause with the head stationary and simply notice the impact the back bend is having on your nervous system. This should feel like an awakening. It should feel like the nervous system is excited, it's building energy. It's waking you up. Exhale, release those hands, palms face up, and notice how your posture has naturally opened up. Now exaggerating the forward bend, bring the hands out to the side and make a big circle with your hands. So your elbows are bent, your fingertips are touching, and you can feel the shoulder blades have come apart. It's imagine your hands are wrapped around a big tree here. Now practice dropping the chin, exaggerating the flexion of the spine, feeling the abdominal strength in the belly area as you do this. Now lift the chin. You'll notice that the lifting of the chin is different from when we're in a back bend. The lifting of the chin is much more intense on the back of the neck in a forward flexion. So drop the chin and hold the chin down and just feel the neck release. Feel this big circle. Feel the sensations grow in the arms and the shoulders, but keep the chin down. Take a deep breath in and then inhale, relax. Float the hands back to the legs. Elbows gently against the ribs. Find your posture, balance the sit bones. Push down through the sit bones, lift the back of the skull. So a lot of core work involved to help stabilize the spine. Back bends, forward bends. Exhale, drop the hands beside you, palms face forward so you feel the shoulder blades open up. Inhale, reach that right hand up above the head. Exhale, drop that left hand down towards the floor, right hand comes over. Now do this nice and slowly. Keep your attention on the sit bone, that right sit bone. Keep trying to press it down towards the chair, even though the balance has tipped towards the left. So you're still working that right sit bone so you feel stretch sensation through the rib cage into that right side. The left side contracting. So here we are stabilizing the spine sideways. Those muscles on the left contracting, stabilizing the obliques. Very important muscles to strengthen, but also to stretch on the opposite side. Let the ear come down towards the shoulder a little more, so the cervical spine is part of that flexion and extension. Inhale, come up. Exhale, the hands, palms face up, and just notice how hard the core of the body just worked. So practicing this work over and over again, you're really starting to learn how to stabilize the spine and keep the spine flexible. We need to do both. Palms face forward, mountain pose. Chest open, good posture. Let the left hand come up. Right hand drops down. See, we start to feel that sideways tilt. The weight comes into the right sit bone. At the same time, I want you to try and press that left sit bone back towards the chair to help stabilize. Ear comes down towards the shoulder. Left hand comes over. That's going to add more intensity. It's going to require more effort from the muscles on the right side of the body to stabilize you from tipping over. So this is a big core strengthener. Lateral flexion of the spine. Having the head and the arm come over to add weight. Push out through that left hip a little more. And then inhale, come up. Starting to feel the body strengthening here, the core strengthening. And then you know the last two positions of the spine will be the rotations. So with the rotation, take the right hand behind you, grab the back of the chair or your clothing so that that right shoulder pulls back. Keep the chin over the chest so you're not straining the neck. Left hand grabs leg or clothing. So you have two anchor points. Now bring your attention to the core of the body once again. So you've got your belly area. You've got your low back. Avoid the temptation to overly arch. Sit up nice and tall and allow that right shoulder to roll back and down. So you really feel that right shoulder and shoulder blade in the upper core area doing a lot of work here, contracting to allow the body to rotate. And so the neck doesn't get frozen here, pivot the head towards the left shoulder as you exhale. Inhale the head back to neutral, chin over sternum. And then exhale the head to the right. Resist the temptation to drop the chin as you pivot the head left and right. Good. So once again, we're having some of the muscles stretching, some of them contracting to hold us in this position. But because we rarely twist our body, these muscles are often very undeveloped. The next time your head comes around to that back shoulder, notice if your right hand can creep a little further around, your left hand a little closer to the buttocks so you can deepen the twist from the shoulders, from the thoracic spine, not from the neck. You don't want the neck straining here, but you want that shoulder area doing all the work. And then release the pressure, allow the body to unwind. palms face up. So just working the 6 directions of the spine is an amazing way to keep those core muscles in shape. Let's try the other side. Right hand anchors to the left leg. Left hand anchors to the waist or the chair. Let the twist come from the shoulders so that left shoulder comes back, not from the neck. So the head feels really freed up. But that left shoulder's working to hold the twist, the thoracic twist. Bring your attention to the sit bones and notice how much closer to balance point can I find here. Then when you find your best balance point, exhale the head to the right shoulder and begin the swiveling of the head synchronized to your breathing. Once again, keeping that chin on an even level so it's not dipping as you rotate. And the next time the chin comes back towards the left shoulder, just notice, have you had time where you can deepen the rotation by bringing that left shoulder back further? Watch the right shoulder doesn't hunch up here. Keep the right shoulder back and down as much as you can. So the left shoulder is really doing the work here. The right shoulder is just holding on through that right hand as an anchor point. Gently release, exhale. So there's a massive workout for the core of the body, just working the spine. Now we're going to work the core of the body coming down into the hips and the legs. So hips and legs, the hips are transferred deeper, where we're transferring the load of the upper body into the lower body. So the hips have this very integral position where they both need to be flexible and strong, stable. So to strengthen the hips, we start by rotating that right knee out to the side, get that nice 90-degree look, knee and toes pointing in the same direction. So if you can only come to 45 degrees, I'd rather see 45 degrees with knee and toes lined up than 90 degrees and the knee dropping in. So keep that knee perpendicular to the ankle joint and back. So opening and closing, building the strength. You can make it harder for yourself by keeping the foot off the ground so that right foot never touches. That's going to add strength. You can feel the muscles needing to work here to do that. You can also add resistance by pressing the hand against the direction of the opening or closing. So the leg is moving through a resistance. And this is a great way to strengthen the core from the knee up into the hip. There's Japan has arrived. Nice to see you, Josh. And then coming back to neutral, drop that right foot down. And just notice already how the right leg, the right lower core of the body has already strengthened. Notice that distinction. So already there's a distinct difference between the right and left sides of the hip-leg complex. Let's start with the other side, opening up that left knee, perpendicular to the ankle joint, knee and toes pointing in the same direction, and then closing. Now remember, for more strengthening here, you can keep the left foot off the ground the whole time. And you can add resistance with that left hand against the left thigh. Now you can see that by doing more repetitions and sustaining this for longer periods of time, you will get tired. You will feel the core of the body working. You'll feel the breath rate increase, the heart rate increase, because there's more demand of blood flow into the muscles. And you're also working in the range of motion of the hip joint here. So you're getting a lot of value out of this core strengthening. Exhale, release, and take a moment to feel your posture once again. Feel balance between the left sit bone and the right sit bone. Feel the low back. If it's overarching, create a slight tightening of the front of the waist. In the belly area, a slight bracing, so you feel your core working once again. And then walk the feet back a little bit, not so much the buttocks, but the feet back a little bit. Knees hip width distance apart, which is approximately your block between the knees, right? That gives you a sense. A block between the knees, block between the feet. So you want the feet and the knees to be in the same direction. We're going to start to work on the standing, sitting muscles of the core of the body. So we're going to light up the quadriceps, we're going to light up the glutes, we're going to light up the abdominals and the low back. So start to rock forward and backward, and start to feel the range of motion increase. So what do I mean by that? I mean the head's going to come further forward until the legs start to get activated. You'll feel the leg muscles take the weight of the body. Remember, we're transferring the load from the sit bones into the heels and the feet. Simply by rocking forward and backward, we're developing abdominal strength, low back strength, glute strength, quadricep strength, hamstring strength, inner and outer thigh strength. And make sure the knees aren't opening and closing here. Try to discipline the knees and the feet to remain stable. The next time you come forward, I want you to pause and simply hold the weight. You're still seated on the chair. Simply hold the weight into the legs. If you cannot feel it in the legs, hinge further forward. I want you to feel your leg muscles strengthening here. Look down at the feet, make sure they're parallel. Look at your knees, make sure they're not knocking in or opening out. So you're training all the muscles of the legs, the inner thighs, the outer thighs, the quadriceps, the low back, and the abdominals, all to be working right now, preparing the body to stand. Inhale, sit back up. Now, if you didn't feel that, then you need to come further forward. All right? Now, we're still on the chair, we're still stable, but we're strengthening, we're training the body to be strong and stable for that squat. And this is a deep squat. Even though we're still on the chair, hinge forward. The further you hinge forward, the more effort the legs are going to have to take here. The chair is taking less weight. The legs are taking more weight. So this is a strengthening exercise. And it's as good as doing a squat in the gym, let me tell you. Even though we're still seated, those legs are working hard. You're adding bone density to the legs as well. Inhale, sit up. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm breathing heavier. My heartbeat's pumping harder. So that work means I'm pushing a lot of blood flow into those major muscle groups of the legs. Now, you know where we're headed here. The next time we come, and I'm going to turn sideways so you can see it clearly, is when I come forward this time, I am lifting the buttocks off the chair. I look down, make sure my feet are behaving themselves, parallel, knees are parallel, and then I'm slowly going to descend and sit back on the chair. So now the total weight, apart from my thumbs and fingers, which are holding the chair, is coming into my heel bones, hinge forward, pressing up gracefully without thrusting, and then slowly descending, coming back down without plopping. Now my heartbeat, if I measured it, would be right up there. All right? So this kind of work now is heavy duty deep squatting. So just realize if you are feeling this, you're in the right place. All right, let's try it again. Remember, the different ways you can build strength is to hold for longer periods of time. Exhale, come down. So I'm even feeling a little lightheaded, which probably indicates I'm not breathing properly. So let's try that with the focus on the breath. Inhale, as you exhale, hinge forward, lift up, and then breathe. Really focus on the breath. Two more breaths. My legs are on fire. Exhale, come down. I'm still lightheaded, so maybe I was breathing. Oh, anybody not feeling it? Hands up. Good. You're feeling the quads? I'm feeling it. All right, you know where we're headed. This time we come forward, hinge forward, lift up, and then slowly stand up. Excellent. Slowly stand up. And now we come into all this core strength we've been cultivating for the last 40 minutes, right? 35 minutes. We're going to now bring that into our standing balance. So have your chair beside you on the left side. And simply start with calf muscle raises. So you come up onto the balls of your feet and then down. Come up and down. So now we're using both feet to balance ourselves, but we're leaving the heels, we're lifting the heels off the earth, engaging the calf muscles, which is a balance pose, because the foot's used to the heel being the primary source of balance. So as you come up and down onto the balls of the feet, you're going to feel the balance required. Now you can try that without holding the chair, but just be mindful that it's a balance pose. And notice as you rock forward and backward into the balls of the feet, notice how the feet respond to hold you in balance. The next time you come forward, whether you're holding the chair or not, hold up for 5, 4, 3, bit taller, 2, exhale, release. You should feel that in the calf muscles. You should feel that in the calf muscles. Now, look down at your feet. Hopefully they're still parallel. Now I want you to slightly rotate them outwards, Charlie Chaplin feet. So the toes are pointing outwards. And we're going to do those calf muscle lifts again with Charlie Chaplin feet. So we come up and down. So chair or no chair. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, oh, I almost lost it, 4, 3, 2, last one, let's hold it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, taller, 4, 3, 2, and release. Woo! So here we are working these tiny little muscles below the knee, which aren't so tiny anyway. Now look at your feet. Pigeon toe. Pigeon toe. So heels out, toes in. So we're hitting the calf muscles from 3 different angles. Lift up and feel now how your weight shifts, particularly to the pinky toe. So you really have to press the big toe down to try and find balance. Up and down for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, lift, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ha, come on down. Ha. All right, so let's walk those out like a little kitten pawing at a blanket. So that was a lot of solid work down deep for balance. Now we'll come into our tree pose. Grab your chair. Now you can have the chair in front of you so you've got both hands. That saves you transferring the chair from side to side. Rotate the right knee and have the heel bone resting against the left ankle. Now notice how your body is trying to twist to the right as you do that. Use your core muscles that we've been stabilizing to hold you straight ahead. So face, torso straight ahead, but that right knee has twisted out. Push down through the left heel bone. Really feel that left leg get strong. Hands on the chair for stability. Now lift that foot up into the calf muscle. Or if you have the knee flexibility, you can bring that foot up above the knee joint and press it into the inner thigh of the left leg. If you can, make the standing leg stronger. Really feel the strength of the standing leg and fix your eyes on a non-moving point. You can play with your arm positions if you like to. You can have one arm in the air. You can switch. But noticing every time that you move the arms, the balance is going to be affected. The standing leg is getting stronger. The density in the bones is getting affected by the fact that you're putting so much pressure in that standing leg. You might feel your arch start to get tired. Keep the foot strong for 3, 2, gently release. Stand the legs together, feet parallel, close the eyes, resist the temptation to shake the standing leg. Feel the standing leg start to cool down. Let it distribute all that energy you've created, that strength. Adjust your feet so this time the left knee can rotate outwards, that left ankle. And I'll move the chair to the side so you can see exactly what I'm doing. That left heel is against that right ankle. Now, stabilize the core here. So get that right leg planted, strong. Feel your core muscles, all those muscles we've been strengthening in the core, come into play now as you lift that foot up, either below the knee joint or above the knee joint. Particularly feel the glute, the buttocks here, nice and strong. Again, you can play with your arm positions. So you just feel every time you move the arms, you're creating demand on your balance. So keeping the eyes fixed as much as possible helps center the mind. So the mind is not wandering. If the mind is busy, balance poses are very demanding. So we're also training the mind to become focused, in tune with our breath and the sensations you're feeling for 3, 2, exhale, gently release. Resist the temptation to shake the leg out. Just be with the sensation and let it cool down on that standing leg. Now another way to feel balance, this time on 2 legs. So if you face the chair so that the seat of the chair is facing you, so you're still facing me, and step the right foot forward so the right foot is under the chair and the left foot comes back, not too far. You'll notice that it's not a deep stance. If you look at my stance, it's a moderate stance. I'm on both feet. Both feet are roughly parallel. So if I look down, my left foot is slightly exteriorly rotated for balance. But look what I'm doing. I'm turning my hips towards the chair, so I'm standing nice and square to the chair. And I'm going to keep both legs straight and hinge forward and bring the hands down onto the chair. So I'm getting a stretch in the back of the legs, particularly the front leg right now. So this doesn't particularly feel like a balance pose yet. Bring the right hand under the heart, then lift the left hand to the hip, and then turn sideways so you could look up to the ceiling. So now I'm starting to play with balance because I'm putting my body into a twist on 2 feet. Even though I've got 3 points of balance, my right hand, my feet, I can feel I'm having to be aware. You can lift the left hand up if you like, feeling that pyramid pose. Now bring the left hand down. Replace the left hand onto the chair, right hand onto the hip. So now I'm revolving the other direction. And definitely I'm feeling the balance in my feet all change. Even though I'm stable, because I have 3 points of contact, there's a lot going on here. Revolved pyramid. You can lift that right hand up if it feels appropriate. Exhale, come down. Bend the front knee, lift the hands, lift the head, step back. Step the opposite foot forward. So the left foot comes under the chair, both legs are straight, hips are facing the chair. So my feet are on railroad tracks, not a tightrope. Hinge forward, and as I hinge forward, both hands stabilize me. Bring the right hip forward so the left front leg gets a nice stretch in the back. Left hand under the heart on the chair, right hand on the hip. Bring that right shoulder, stack it on top of the left shoulder and look towards the ceiling or the wall. And feel how the balance comes into play here. Sometimes the feet might need to be wider apart. Lift that right hand towards the ceiling. Now feel all the core strength we're using right now for pyramid pose. Feel how much the spine and the hips are working, all those muscles we've been strengthening. Keep the breath flowing as you drop the right hand to replace the left hand on the hip, and you're revolving in the opposite direction now. So the left shoulder's coming back as much as possible. You're feeling all the core strength you've been using. Keep the legs nice and stable, hand nice and stable. Option to lift, this time the left hand up. Exhale, release. Both hands on the chair, bend the front knee, lift the torso and step back. And then rotate the chair once more to the front. If you have blocks handy, and if you have a bolster or some cushions, have them handy. Position yourself in front of the chair, and you need to be about, 6 inches in front of the chair. You could have your thighs up against the chair if you feel you need that reassurance. That's okay. We're going to come into a seated squat. Look at the feet, hip width distance apart, parallel. Find good posture. Find the balance point between the right heel and the left heel. Feel balanced. Soften the knees and hinge the head forward and push the buttocks backwards. So you're really coming into your squat position. You feel the weight in the heels. Now your hands can either touch the chair for reassurance, or you can bring them out into your squat. And then a nice, slow, non-plopping descent down to your chair. Take your time and feel that smooth transition. So that slow descent that you're working with, that's where you're really strengthening these muscles. And then just sit towards the edge of the chair for a moment. Feel comfortable. Feel how your body feels. The sensations in your core, from the knees right up to the shoulders. The whole body really, in that trunk of the body, really just worked. Now grab your cushion or cushions or bolster and bring it behind you. It's going to pad you. So you can see I've got mine right there ready to pad me. Then bring your blocks in front and stand your feet on the blocks and just lean back into your bolster until you find just the right position where you feel you've just paid for first class on an aeroplane. Nice and comfy. So the feet are elevated. They could be on Encyclopedia Britannica if you don't have blocks. You're leaning back this time, so you're fully supported by your cushion or bolster. So you can really relax like you're in a nice, comfortable armchair. Now notice the position of your head this time. I want you to make tiny micro movements with your head forward and backward until you feel the head is not straining the back of the neck. Not straining the throat. See if you can find a perfect position for the forwardness and the backwardness of the position of the head. Find that tipping point. And then relax your shoulders a little more. Roll them back and down, palms face up. Let the back of the hands just simply go limp on your thighs. Let the face soften. Notice if your feet feel comfortable, elevated. Do they need a little more elevation, or do they need a little less elevation, or does that feel just about right? Now, if it's possible, relax the muscles and the nerves of the jaw. And now bring your attention to the eyes, the muscles and the nerves in the eyes. Allow the muscles and the nerves of the eyes to soften, just like they do before you fall asleep. And make sure you don't lose that position of the head. Don't let the head slump forward. So even though we're relaxing, we're still maintaining postural alignment. Relaxing the face even more. Relaxing the fingers and the hands even more. Make sure the spine feels supported, so you're not efforting in the spine. The core is resting. Let the core rest. Let the breath be automatic, no breath technique. Just allow your mouth to be soft and open, your lips apart, and let the breath take care of itself. And in that relaxation, in that ease, gently bring the hands together in prayer position at the chest. Feel the thumbs against the sternum. Let the head bow in gratitude. Let the shoulders relax in that forward fold. Thank you for your company. Namaste. Thank you very much for joining me. You can unmute yourself if you like.
Thanks, Laurie.
My pleasure.